ours, Stefan Mychajliw. How are you, Stefan?
I'm fantastic. Yeah, you guys had one interesting field trip the other day.
I missed out, Stefan. I think I said to Mike Sparazza, I said, I don't think my mom signed my permission slip, so I wasn't able to leave the office, but I wish I could have.
Well, you know what? You missed the bed bugs and the unsanitary conditions that spread COVID, so believe me, you didn't miss anything.
Well, I'm going to let Mike Sparazza go ahead and tee this up for you, and let's talk about it.
Well, Stefan, word on the street is that you smuggled Mike Lomas and I into the building and hid us in your office underneath a desk so we could go into the health department. That's the word on the street. But what's interesting is all these things that are coming out saying that we were hiding in your office and whatnot, coming from the same people who have been hiding from Mike and Glenn, and now I'll throw myself and Mike Hayflick in there, about answering questions on a very simple it's a very simple question. Why are you getting paid over $300,000 of overtime? What is it for? And first off, though, why are you getting overtime like that as a salaried employee? That's where I'm going to let you step in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, being a former journalist and a staunch supporter of the First Amendment, I think sunshine is the best disinfectant. And government runs best when elected leaders are responsive to the media, responsive to the public. And I pretty much answer questions from anyone and any medium at any time because that's the way government is run best. Wholeheartedly understand. You know, the polling cars administration is paranoid and fearful of the media or anyone with a microphone asking them questions about Gail Burstein's overtime or county health officials, allegedly having workers go to a private home and administer the vaccine to their loved ones before it was available in public, or, a current social services employee who's under federal investigation. So I can understand their paranoia. And all you guys wanted to do was go into a public building, which you pay for as taxpayers. You pay for the building itself. You pay for salaries of all these employees. And anyone can come out of the office and talk to me, but apparently the polling cars administration is afraid to talk to two grown men with a microphone. How sad.
and folks, if you haven't seen the video, go onto our Facebook or on our YouTube page. It's on there. Mike and I went downtown and just tried to ask some questions. And Stefan, the other funny thing is the narrative that, we were being, mean to people in the office, harassing them, right? I guess according to that side, asking questions now is harassment. You can't ask any questions, but, you got a little bit of a letter that I'll let you address. I think somebody's mad at you too.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, Mark Poloncarz has political appointees making hundreds of thousands of dollars in overtime. They're buying pork chops and pizza and chicken wings with federal COVID money, fraud, waste, and abuse rampant in county government. And his biggest concern are the financial guys. So he sent me this nasty letter talking about building security, and it was breached by, the Mikes and dare you, and we with ultra security like Fort Knox. And I responded in kind saying, wait a minute, the reason why we have this security is because you're a liar like Jussie Smollett. Poloncarz lied and made up a death threat saying he received a suspicious package. So then hundreds of thousands of dollars, and actually more than $1 million, were spent on around-the-clock police protection and metal detectors and turning the Rath building into Fort Knox because he lied and said he had a death threat. And all it turned out to be was a bunch of papers in an envelope that was sent to him and local media asking him for help in a child custody case. So reason why he slipped out is because, the financial guys are walking around the Rath building, God forbid, asking people questions. And yet the reason why it's locked down like Fort Knox is because he lied like Jussie Smollett and fabricated a death threat.
I'm impressed they even had time to notice that Mike and Mike arrived there and were actually there. They're not, apparently they must not have that much to do in their jobs. They have enough time to see who's in the hallways and who's entering certain offices, right? I mean, that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
To be fair, Mike, it took them a week to figure that part out. So it took them a week to realize the financial guys were in town.
And they probably did it on overtime, so they'll probably get some more of that. What is it? The secure money? I think they called it, right? That's what Erie County Executive Polling Car said. The CARES Act federal stimulus money allowed those non-union managers to go ahead and collect overtime. So, that makes it right. Okay, Mark, thank you. Because that hundreds of thousands of overtime dollars you paid out to like a handful of people, they could definitely use the money more than hundreds or thousands of people that were out of jobs, out of businesses because they had to close their own doors.
And as they're eating steaks for lunch and dinners and buying extra paper plates and paper towels. And Stefan, the other thing too I said was, we said, okay, we'll do it the right way. We'll call first. We'll call both. We called both Mark and Dr. Gail Burstey's office. Spoiler alert, we haven't heard back still. It's been a week and a half almost, and we still haven't heard back. So when you do it the right way and go through the proper channels, you can't get it. If you go and you go to the front desk, you can't do it. How do you get in touch with these people? Is it possible?
Well, 2 points. Number one, the financial guys have an open invitation to visit me in the Rath building anytime you'd like. Come on up to the 11th floor. That's where I am. But number two, you have to think about how you guys, the financial guys, are in the heads of Mark Poloncarz so severely that he stopped what he was doing. He wrote me a nasty letter about you guys breaking into a public building, and he ordered security in the Department of Public Works to scroll through hours and hours and days of video footage, find out how you got in the building. That's what the county executive's main point is.
Yeah.
If he would have just called us back, I would have given him the exact time we were there. It would have made his life easier.
Oh my! We're really happy to see what our Erie County leader is doing and spending time like well spent, right? Just doing a great job. Hey, Stefan, we're coming up on a hard break. Can we come back just for one more brief moment with you? I just want to hear how your the Hamburg supervisor candidacy is going and your campaigning and visiting businesses down in Hamburg is going.
Happy to.
I'm here with Stefan Mychajliw. Thanks for holding over, Stefan. Before we talk a little bit about your Hamburg supervisor campaign, we'd like to know, what do you think of these Texas Democrats that feel like they're doing the work of the millions, right? Of the millions out there that they lead, that they're like the civil rights activists of the 60s, right? I mean, what do you think of this whole absolutely absurd charade that we've seen, them basically leaving Texas to fly on a private jet to Washington with Miller Lite in tow and no masks on, of course.
And I wonder, before you go, Stefan, I do wonder, they probably had to show proper identification to get on the private jet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, with their case of beer,
right,
leaving for elitist Washington, D.C. I mean, right. And I think that's why people are so sick and tired of these so-called woke extremists who just grab their ball and run home if they don't get their way. And look, elections have consequences. And here in New York State, there's a Democratic majority. We have a Democratic governor.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see, Republican leadership just leaving Albany if they could. We lost the election. Democrats are controlling it. And we live, unfortunately, with the terrible consequences. But it's these entitled, spoiled, so-called woke extremists that are, infiltrating local governments and state governments that if they don't get their woke way,
mm-hmm.
and they flee and ignore their duties and still get paid for it. It's pretty sad.
I think they're going to wake up a lot of the anti-woke people, though, especially in Texas, and I'm really looking forward to see how many of those people on that airplane get unseated in their positions.
And here's what's amazing about it. I mean, look, asking somebody to provide a form of photo identification to vote does not seem racist to me, right? Everybody has to have a driver's license to drive, right? You need these politicians. They bought the beer, need ID for that, right? You got on a plane, need ID for that, right? I'm sure they're staying in hotels in Washington. Guess what you need to check into a hotel these days? Proper form of identification, right?
Rent a car. Need
right.
ID.
Right. I don't understand. Is it just voting is racist, but nothing else that we need ID for is? To get the COVID vaccine, need an ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the Erie County Democratic Committee, when they held...
Still with us, Stefan?
That photo ID, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I said even the Erie County Democratic Committee, when they had somewhat recent committee elections, they posted a sign on the door, photo ID to vote. So if it's good enough for the Democrats, it's good enough for elections.
Right. I just don't understand. I can't walk up to the Hertz rental car desk and just say, come on, won't you just look at me and trust me? I'll be fine with the vehicle. Come on, I just need it for 7 days.
I promise it's me.
I promise
it's me.
I'll bring it back in the right condition. Come on, I really have to sign contracts and show you who I am. Give me a break, right? I'm turned off by that, Stefan.
Whether it's in Texas or Hamburg, we can change things with elections in November.
Mm-hmm.
We have the power, to basically reject all of these radical socialists, these woke extremists, especially those on the Working Families Party whose main platform is this November. Again, whether it's, Texas Democrats who flee their jobs or here at home in Hamburg or across Erie County.
Yeah. So, what do you have going on? I know that lately you've visited different businesses in Hamburg, and I absolutely love that because some of the business owners. I mean, first of all, they're some of the most courageous people out there. I have a lot of business owners as clients, and I always tell them, "Holy cow! Like, don't at all feel bad that you might retire, or don't feel bad that you might have to do things in your business to survive, because you're the ones with the biggest backbones out there." Especially in New York State. What are you doing lately, though, for the folks in Erie County, first of all, but also in Hamburg?
Well, we're trying to fight the good fight to keep taxes as low as possible, which is why, I signed a pledge that said I'm going to propose 4 years of budgets with no proposal to increase property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses are suffering. Families are fleeing, especially after COVID restrictions and lockdowns decimated businesses and families. So I told them, I said, for 4 years, I'm going to propose budgets with zero or less property tax increases.
Mm-hmm.
People are hurting. We talk about term limits, too, and career politicians. And I think I'm going to put in term limits in Hamburg, and also ending the friends and family plan. How a lot of people, look at government and government jobs like it's their personal fiefdom,
mm-hmm.
while their personal family are pigs at the trough with 600 or, six-figure jobs and $100,000 jobs. I'm making a pledge to business owners that I'm not going to put my friends and especially my family on the payroll, and I'm going to cut taxes and do what I can to create a culture where businesses thrive and thrive.
Awesome. I mean, we're within, 4 months now?
Yeah.
Less than 4 months to Election Day, November 2nd. And,
Anyone who will listen.
Absolutely.
Any candidate who's on the Working Families Party line. If you like India Walton, you're going to love any radical socialists running on the Working Families Party line, because their platform in New York is to raise taxes $94 billion. And the main part of the platform of the Working Families Party is defund police. So we have to reject any candidate on the Working Families Party line this year.
No doubt.
And that $94 billion is great when, people are leaving every hour, too, from the state. So everybody else that stays, their taxes go through the roof.
Shrinking tax base,
Yeah.
Just bulging budgets. Yeah, just not a recipe for success here. Stefan, thanks again for joining us. And folks, again, if you'd like to support Stefan, vote Stefan.com.